I love how the coffee stain videos start out. And today, what I want to do is I want to look at this 20-minute video with you. I'm going to go through here and we're going to see what the purple things actually were, what the gold-plated, what I call gold-plated ingots were, or the triangle thingies, or any one of those items. Hopefully, this video will tell us a little bit. So let's get going and see what he has to say.
So I'd like to start this video by talking about the end of the teaser video, because at the end of the teaser video, you saw a little cool thing. You saw like a miner placed on a Caterium node, a pure Caterium node, by the way. And what did we see? We saw like a shiny new belt. What is that? What could that possibly be? All right.
And I called that a Mark 6 belt.
That is the Mark 6 belt, right?
Yes.
So there's another version of the conveyor belt, the Mark 6 belt. And yeah, it's transporting 1,200 resources per minute, which is a lot. And just to give you like a little bit of sense of scale, right? On a pure node like this is a pure iron node. On a pure iron node, overclocked Y3 miner, 1,200 resources, that equates to like 40 smelters on one single pure node. That is pretty whack. Just look at this when you look at the thing ticking up. That's pretty quick. Nutty. And that's just the one conveyor belt, right? So in Tier 9, you're going to get access to Quantum Tech. Quantum Tech features some of the most complex production chains in the game. But we're going to start by talking about the converter. So the converter is this elusive building we've had in all our teasers. You guys have seen it, but you haven't fully seen it. So there you have it. So what is the converter? As the name implies, the converter is mainly there to convert one raw resource into another. But there's a limit as to how you can convert each resource. You can't take any resource and convert it into whatever. There's a logic as to like what each resource on the map can be converted to, but it is possible to chain them up to get the from the node that you're starting from to the resource that you need. But in order to convert one resource to another, you need one extra little thing, some little secret thing you need to put in there, and that is so by combining iron ore, for instance, with you can create sulfur. But that's not the only thing the converter does. It has many tricks up its sleeve, and one of which is to produce one of the new ingots in the game, which is fixed site ingots. And in order to create fixed site ingots, you need to take an existing ingot and combine it with similar to the regular conversion. There's actually multiple ways you can create this ingot, and that is by combining either iron ingots, Caterium ingots, or aluminium ingots with, depending on the complexity of the ingot that you put in, you get a different yield. So aluminium ingots, for instance, will yield more fixed site ingots rather than if you just used iron ingots. And with the fixed site ingot, you're going to be able to produce this little cheeky bugger. So this is the triangle fixed site trigon, and it is perfectly shaped for all construction challenges. Its performance is so exceptional, it basically solves structural engineering. There you have it. Essentially, this part here, the fixed site trigon, is going to be used in a lot of these like high-end recipes. So this is like a little bit of like low tier thing you're going to need to figure out and produce these in mass quantities so you can produce some of these more complex parts. But that's not the only thing the converter can do. It can also produce this part, and this is a time crystal. What is that? So time crystals are diamonds that have been reconfigured on a subatomic level in the converter to retain a time periodic self-organizing structure. And I mentioned diamond.
Time periodic self-organizing structure. Did I get you?
Because that's the part that needs to be put into converter to be able to produce this part. And diamonds are created in the particle accelerator by putting in coal.
Diamonds put into the particle accelerator. Coal put into the particle accelerator to create diamonds. So we're creating artificial diamonds now. Well, that's interesting.
Partially this. So to produce these time crystals, you first need to make diamonds in the particle accelerator with coal, and then you feed that into the converter.
Those are diamonds,
to create time crystals. So the other new machine we're adding in Tier 9 is called the Quantum Encoder.
Quantum Encoder.
So yeah, the Quantum Encoder, huh? What a concept. The Quantum Encoder is probably the machine that produces the most complex parts in the game. And the thing about this machine is that it solves two of the biggest mysteries we've had in early access, right? So in Satisfactory, up until this point, there's been references to two weird parts that you haven't been able to produce: the superposition oscillators and the quantum computers, right? And while the quantum encoder does produce superposition oscillators, it does not create quantum computers. So quantum computers are not a thing anymore, okay? Quantum computers are gone from the game. So what has happened is we have replaced the mesh for supercomputers with the mesh from quantum computers. So these are supercomputers that you're seeing rolling here on the belt, being produced from the manufacturer. And to take the place of quantum computers, we have to replace it with this new part. And this part is called the neural quantum processor. So in order to produce neural quantum processors, you need supercomputers, you need fixed site trigons, that new like triangle thing that we saw from the converter. You need time crystals, which are also produced in the converter. And you need something called excited photonic matter. And this is where the pipe from the converter comes into play. Because you may have spotted that from the converter, there is a pipe coming out of it. The excited photonic matter is being produced from the converter by the fact that it is built by it is being created by inducing intense photon interactions through exposure to the in a high energy environment inside the converter. So that's the reason why that's happening. Every single recipe that goes into a quantum encoder will require excited photonic matter, and every single recipe that is produced in the quantum encoder will create a byproduct called dark matter residue. Before we talk about dark matter residue, I'm gonna show you the superposition oscillator recipe. And in order to create superposition oscillators, you need excited photonic matter, you need alkylate aluminum sheets, you need crystal oscillators, and you need something called a dark matter crystal. Another new exciting part. And this is what that is. This is a dark matter crystal. And it is produced in the particle accelerator. But here's the catch, okay? In order for you to produce the dark matter crystal, you need dark matter residue. So to create a dark matter crystal, you need to combine diamonds together with the byproduct from the quantum encoder, the dark matter residue. So dark matter residue can also be produced in the converter. So you can take rhiannon and put that in the converter, and that will produce dark matter residue. And by combining excited photonic matter, superposition oscillators, neural quantum processors, and magnetic field generators, if you combine all these parts together, you're going to be able to craft one of the new space elevator parts, which is the AI expansion server. And you're going to need 1 million of these to finish phase 5.
Or are you?
But there is more you can do in the quantum encoder than just produce these parts. And there are two really cool things you can do. So let's dive into that. One really neat thing you can do in the quantum encoder is you can produce synthetic power shards. And the last thing I want to mention about the quantum encoder is that it's now possible to produce a new power source in Satisfactory. So in the particle accelerator, it's now going to be possible to produce a new power source called Fixonium. And there it is. Look at that. Isn't that cute? Oh, it really brightens
the IKEA
up
lamp
the
is Fixonium.
Please don't sue. All right, so there you have it. That is everything tied to quantum tech in Tier 9, coming in Satisfactory 1.0. So excited. September 10th, everybody. It's almost here. We're nearly there. So close to the finish line. Super exciting. This has probably been a very long video, but I do have actually one more thing I want to talk about in this video before I leave off. It has to do with blueprints. So I'd like to take a moment to talk about a little change we made and how blueprints work in Satisfactory. So oh geez, what the shit? Why is this so loud? Holy shit, what's going on?
What the shit is going on out here? Holy shit, lasers?
Okay. All right, that's almost as bad as not talking about teleportation and lasers, and not talking about the changes in the blueprint, which everybody wants it to be bigger than it is already. So, wow, that's pretty incredible. So You know, I went over my list of things that I saw in that long teaser of theirs, and what I called the Quantum Entanglement Enhancer, that blue thing that was going through the conveyor belt coming at you fairly close to the beginning, that wasn't mentioned at all. But he gave us a lot of new stuff. So, wow, it's going to be a lot to unpack and see what's really going on. Tell me in the comments what you got out of all that, and let's get a dialogue going here, because wow, phase 9 or level 9 is going to be bizarre what you can do. Gosh, we're going to have to figure all of that out. So come along this journey with me and we'll figure it out. Remember, we're going to live stream all day on September 10th. So we're getting all geared up for that, and hope you'll join us. See you then. Bye.